I am making this video for anyone out there who has always wanted to start a fries business, a local one, and has had nobody to guide them or to show them how to do it. At least for this part of the video, I'm going to help you with the expenses needed to start just like a small, like a local fries business. So pay attention, and I hope you enjoy the video, and let me know down in the comments if you have found this video helpful. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and share the link to this video and to my YouTube channel. Let's get into it. First, I had to build the structure. I did a timber structure, then I enclosed it with iron sheet. Everything second-hand except the wood. So let's talk about the wood. I used a 2x2 inch wood to do the entire structure. At the bottom, because of the wetness and dampness, I used cypress type of wood. Then for the rest of the structure, I used pine. For the cypress, I used 26 feet according to the dimensions of my local fries business. And for the construction of that structure, kindly go to my other video linked in the description that I talk and I show you about the construction of that structure. I was getting the 2x2 cypress at 24 Kenya shillings per foot, and I used 26 feet of them. That did cost me 624 Kenya shillings for the cypress. For the pine, I used 113 feet, which were costing me 19 Kenya shillings per foot, which did amount to Kenya shillings 2,149 Kenya shillings. Later on, as I explained in that other video, I added another 16 feet, and this I got at 20 Kenya shillings because I bought them at a different hardware, which the prices were different. Thus, it cost me 320 Kenya shillings. Therefore, the total for the pine was 2,449 Kenya shillings. The subtotal for all the wood used for the structure was 3,073 Kenya shillings. For the iron sheets that I used for the walling, I used 8 second-hand iron sheets. I got them at the local scrapyard where I was getting each at 300 Kenya shillings. Therefore, the iron sheets cost me 2,400. Then, of course, there were the nails that I used for the wooden structure plus the nailing of the iron sheet to the wooden structure. A quarter kg of 3-inch nails, a quarter kg going at 60 Kenya shillings. I also had to add a quarter kg of 4-inch nails, each going at 60 Kenya shillings. And I also had to add binding nails, a quarter kg going for 70 Kenya shillings. And also to bind the iron sheets to the frame doors and the point of sale, I had to buy gypsum screws. I also use these gypsum screws for the creating of the shelves. I bought an entire box of gypsum screws, which cost me 350 Kenya shillings. Therefore, the total cost for the walling material, which was the iron sheets and the nails and the gypsum screws, was Kenya shillings 2,990. Then there was the metalworks. I used 3/4 tubing, which is about 20 feet per tube, to do the point of sale frame plus the door frame. I bought each tube at 350 Kenya shillings. A cutting disc, which was going for 200 Kenya shillings. I had to buy a half kg of rods, which was going for 120 Kenya shillings. I also bought 2 locks, each going at 100 Kenya shillings, which was 200 Kenya shillings. I also had to buy 4 hinges, each going at 50 Kenya shillings, giving a total of 200 Kenya shillings. And I also had to buy a small padlock, so I bought it at 100 Kenya shillings. Then, of course, there was the labor. He charged me 400 Kenya shillings. It might seem cheap, but remember, I'm not being left with the cutting disc and the metal rods that zinabaki after the work. We had agreed anything yenye inabaki, he goes with it, aenda akatumie. So when I was bargaining my labor price, it went from 800 to 400. Why? Because he was also getting some parts from that. Therefore, the total for all the metalworks plus the labor was Kenya shillings 2,275. Now to the part that I thought wouldn't cost a lot of money but ended costing almost the most amount of money was the electrical works. I had to buy 2.5mm cable, 7 meters each at 70 Kenya shillings, that's 490 Kenya shillings. I had to buy 4mm electric cable at 100 Kenya shillings per meter, 8 meters, that's 800 Kenya shillings. I had to buy 32 amperes 2 circuit breakers, each at 200 Kenya shillings, that's 400 Kenya shillings. I bought wire clips at 100 Kenya shillings per box. I bought 2 tapes, each at 40 bob, that's 80 Kenya shillings. I had to buy an industrial socket at 650 Kenya shillings after bargaining. By the way, these things are even sold 1500 Kenya shillings. I had to buy also a double socket ya kucharge simu pale hivyo kwa kazi, or even for the water heater when you want to heat water to wash the oily stuff at 200 Kenya shillings. I also bought a double socket at 150 Kenya shillings ya kuzima stima ya nje na ya ndani. The houses for these sockets and switch were 60 bob and 50 bob, so a total of 110 Kenya shillings. I also had to buy a bulb holder for the outside light at Kenya shillings 50. I also had to buy an LED strip light at 280 Kenya shillings, a multicolor bulb for 150 Kenya shillings. I thought it would be cool, so I went to turn blue, na turn green, na turn red, singine na yeka ina color. You get how it goes. And then the labor, my boy Tony charged me 800 Kenya shillings. It is work that he done in under 2 hours and he was done. So I think that is quite fair. Therefore, the total cost for all the electrical works that I incurred was Kenya shillings 4,710. Hiyo nayo iliniguza mahali. I really felt that. Anyway, proceeding with the video. I did a bit of paint job to the premises. Nilibai rangi ya 1 liter blue for 400 Kenya shillings. I also bought half a liter of thinner at 250 Kenya shillings. That giving you a total of 650 Kenya shillings. Then it came to the time for utensils. And even here, I did spend more than I thought I would spend. Let's break it down. I bought 4 metallic plates, each at 40 Kenya shillings, that's 160. I also bought 5 plastic plates, each at 30 bob Kenya shillings, that's 150 Kenya shillings. I bought 1 dozen of forks at 100 Kenya shillings. I bought 1 fork holder at 30 bob Kenya shillings. I bought a sieve at 200 Kenya shillings, a metallic one. I bought a skimmer at 200 Kenya shillings, a metallic one. I also bought a plastic chopping board at 350 Kenya shillings. These things are way expensive than I thought they would be. I bought a knife at 50 Kenya shillings. I bought a bucket, a big transparent one, at 350 Kenya shillings. I also bought 3 basins, more small ones, for 150 Kenya shillings, 3 of them. And then finally, I bought a perforated basket at 100 Kenya shillings. This brought the entire total for the utensils and plastics bought to 1,840 Kenya shillings. Then on the side of sanitation, I bought a dustbin at 100 Kenya shillings. I bought water 40 liters, 20 liter jerry can, 2 of them at 40 Kenya shillings. And then I bought a water heater to heat water to clean all the oily utensils and cooker and stuff at 150 Kenya shillings. Thus giving a total of 270 Kenya shillings. Then off to another big spender, the ingredients. First, I had to create my own kind of seasoning, so I had to buy seasonings for that kind of seasoning. I hope you get what I mean. I call it vibranium seasoning. If you've watched my previous video, you know what I'm talking about. So those ingredients did cost me around 650 Kenya shillings. Then there is of course the kachumbari. For the kachumbari, I had to buy cucumber, 20 Kenya shillings. Onions, 1 kilogram over here goes for 80 Kenya shillings. This onion I'm going to use for like 3 days. Si ati zote natumia siku moja. Then tomatoes over here, 1 kilogram of tomato is 50 Kenya shillings. Again, I'm going to use them for like 2 days, not just 1 day. Then of course there was dania, aka coriander, for 10 bob. There was carrot for 10 Kenya shillings. And then there was a lemon for 10 Kenya shillings. Then of course there was the tomato sauce, 5 liters at 230 Kenya shillings. It's very thick. You can still dilute it and get good quality. Then there is the cooking oil. I started with 10 liters of cooking oil. By the way, you don't have to start with 10 liters. Actually, 5 liters is also enough, but I started 10 liters. It went for 2,300 Kenya shillings. Then of course there was the potatoes. I bought half a sack, half a gunia, which is 53 kilograms, which goes for 2,400 Kenya shillings. The total for all the ingredients and the starting cooking stuff was Kenya shillings 5,770. I hope by now you can already tell it wasn't cheap to start this business, by the way. It isn't. If you are this part of the video and you feel like this video is providing value to you, your life, your business ambition, your side hustle ambitions, hit like on the video, subscribe, and also share the link to this video. I appreciate sana. And by the way, if you have watched other videos on my YouTube channel, I'm not only talking about fries. I've done several businesses and I am as open as I can be to you guys. Mi usemanga dream ni kutoka kwa block. Ukitoka block bro, utaenda maandamano, hautakufa bure, hautashinda umelaumu serikali. You'll do your own thing. You'll realize that you are in charge of your own destiny. You're in charge of your own finances. You're in charge of your own future. Acha nisiongea sana. Tuendelee, right? Where were we? Yeah, equipment. So these are the final prices for all the things that I got. The cooker I got at 2,000, but which had issues I had to fix a little bit. The chips cutter I got at 1,000 Kenya shillings. Then I couldn't find a chips display or warmer anywhere, so I had to buy a new one at 1,850 Kenya shillings. Then there was the packaging stuff. They come in sizes 1, half, and a quarter. There are 50 pieces in all the categories. Size 1 going at 100 Kenya shillings, size half going for 90 Kenya shillings, and size a quarter going for 80 Kenya shillings. Therefore, the entire total for the equipment and the packaging was Kenya shillings 5,120. Ni kama hakuna kitu yenye nasema hata ni ya 2,000 ama 3 anymore. Zote ziko kama 5,000, 4,000. Anyway, let's proceed. I'm not yet done. Being the kakibanda that I built, na niliwaambia nilikuwa nikatengeneze just outside my gaming arcade, but the problem is that the landee had a club just next. So if I was to build the structure there, I would obstruct her club. So I went into an agreement with her that I would build on that other place where in that video I show you where I built it, so that she can retain the parking of that area, and then I could also not obstruct her. So I was not to pay any type of rent. The rent was free. So I was like, okay, it's cool, it's free, but siwache nikujenga kakitu. Haki nakwambia, what kind of a businessman am I? I'm getting this for free, but I am still bargaining to pay. Anyway, we settled for me paying 1,000 Kenya shillings per month for that space that you see and for that structure where I built it. Sometimes you need to pay for stuff so that you can be serious about them. The grand total for all the expenses that were used to set this business were, drumroll please, 27,698 Kenya shillings. Wow. Thank you very much, people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would like to thank first and foremost my mother for giving back to me and instilling into me values that I never give up, that whenever I put my eyes on something, I make sure that I achieve it. Secondly, I would love to say my thanks to my sister, whom I have harassed, whom I have covered pesa and never returned to, and she never even pursues them. Sitangu Immaculate, shukran sana. Thirdly, I would love to thank my wife for always being there, for always hearing out my ideas, for always encouraging me, or at least not demotivating me. Thank you very much. Last but not least, I would like to thank my son, Ryan Zimimbibia, for being such an adorable, cute boy. Oh man. You are the reason why I try to work so hard to achieve whatever I can achieve to make a smart money so that I can leave you a legacy, even if not of money, of lessons, of way of life, of how to deal with life, of how to live with blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that was it. 27,698 Kenya shillings for the entire business. Now, there are things that I've not mentioned, but I acquired for free or already had them. For example, I've not spoken about the paintbrush. I already had that. I'm always painting my gaming arcade and whatever. There was something like the plastic rack, extra nice, potato pillars. Some of these things I just had them laying around somewhere. So I just pick here, pick there, bring here. Then the place where I believe I save most money on. The fundis were charging me 4,500 for the structure and shelving and walling. I did that myself in under 6 hours. The guy who was supposed to paint was charging me a minimum of 800. I did it in less than 30 minutes. I was done. And some places I was even going 2 coats. So it pays us sometimes to learn some of these DIY skills. Anyway, that being said, it cost me 27,698 Kenya shillings to set up this business. Stay tuned for my next video. I'll be breaking down the expenses and the cost and the profits and everything else that I incur in the day-to-day running of the fries business. Until then, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, share the link to this video, and see you in the next one. Wakanda forever.